Little baby bunting, little baby bunting, daddy's gone hunting, gonna fetch a... Agnes, it's me, Billy.
Welcome back for day 15 of the 31 Christmas horror films in December. And today I'm going to talk about a film that is highly underrated, and highly underrated from the standpoint of a horror film, or if you want to classify it as a slasher film. I think it's one of the best certainly one of the best of the Christmas themed horror films, and that is Silent Night, Bloody Night. This is a 1972 drive-in classic. When I was a kid, back in the 70s, I can remember the newspaper ads for double and triple feature horror films on Saturday night at the drive-in, and this is one of the films that got on that list. It's a proto-slasher with all the trappings and elements that inspired the 74 Black Christmas. But this film doesn't get near not even close to the recognition of Black Christmas, and it deserves that recognition, because I think it is as good as that film in a lot of respects. This release, and what's sad about this film is that it kind of fell into public domain, and so now you get all these really bad bootlegs of it. This is a restoration from a company called Film Chest, a high-def restoration from 35 millimeter, but honestly it looks like an HD transfer of a VHS recording of it. It's not that great. And the audio is muffled. This film desperately needs... I think Code Red put out a double feature of this, but I don't think that's much better. This film desperately needs someone like Grindhouse or Arrow or someone to pick this up with some special features, because the movie itself is fantastic. And the backstory, to the extent you can research it, is equally fascinating. The associate producer on this is Lloyd Kaufman. Troma's Lloyd Kaufman, but this is not your mother's Troma. This is a straight up horror film along the lines of Psycho, Black Christmas, Halloween, and to me it's a proto slasher. It's got a giallo type feel to it, so I think it's got an American giallo type feel to it. You've got a black gloved killer who likes to chop up his victims with an axe, and there's not a huge body count in this, but what you get when the killings occur is and the buildup associated with those killings is great stuff, equally as good as Black Christmas in my opinion. You also have some interesting cameos from the Andy Warhol art house group of the 70s, most notably Candy Darling, the transgender femme fatale, if you will, from some of the Andy Warhol films like Flesh. So watch for her. She's the blonde in the guest party towards the end of the movie. And her story is as interesting as anything else. I mean, she's been paraded on a bunch of different videos from Walk on the Wild Side type stuff. This film also features... The one criticism I could have of this movie would be the casting of John Carradine. You know, John Carradine is a tremendous Shakespearean, authoritative voice, commanding voice. His voice is as much of the strength of his acting comes from his voice, and he's cast as a mute in this film. I mean, I don't even know why they bothered, other than to get his name on the film. So that was a little bit irritating. Storyline is the film picks up where a guy is running out of his mansion in flames. And the story is that from 1915 to 1935, this mansion has had a history of terrible things going on, and it was subsequently turned into an asylum, apparently run by the guy that was on fire, came running out on fire. The guy that died from the fire, supposedly died from the fire, donated or gifted to his grandson the mansion. And so you fast forward 20-some years later, and the grandson is in California and says, let's get rid of this house and just sell it. And he gets a real estate agent played by Patrick O'Neill and Mary Vornoff. Patrick O'Neill, of course, is a pretty famous in the 70s particularly. He's kind of a James Coburn, poor man's James Coburn. He was a strong character actor. And then you got the cult film actress Mary Vornoff, who go to sell the mansion, end up getting axed to death, staying in the mansion. And then the appearance of the grandson, he shows up to deal with the house, and from there you got a very in-depth Giallo-esque like plot that with a great ending. Spoiler, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a great ending that has a number of surprises and some troubling things in it. And the film is a very disturbing, gothic, moody, slow burn. And I would not want to spoil that for you, so I would just say that if you haven't seen Silent Night, Bloody Night, but you are a fan of Giallos and you've seen Black Christmas, you have to see this movie. Because I think this movie inspired Black Christmas. You've got a lot of creepy phone calls, just like in Black Christmas. You've got a lot of dark, set-up, gothic-type pieces. The Black Glove Killer, the surprise ending, all the trappings that make a Giallo movie, so much fun and great are in this film. And I just can't recommend it high enough. 8 out of 10. So, there's the back. All right. That wraps up day 15, and appreciate you watching. Thanks.